Hi, my name's Olivia. I'm a first-time mom with a 12-month-old baby boy. I like to do things a little bit more natural, a little bit more on the crunchy side of things, and I love sharing anything having to do with motherhood or really just creating a healthier, happier home. So if you're into that, please subscribe, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. So, as you can tell by the title of this video, I am going to share why I started eating meat after being a vegetarian for 11 years. This decision was not only made for my health, but also really it was made for my family. And so I just want to share this. Hopefully this helps you, or maybe it's just an interesting story. Anyways, let's get into why I started being a vegetarian. So whenever I was in high school, I didn't really like meat. Actually, my whole life I didn't really like meat. I never really ate it unless my mom made it in something or like made it specifically for dinner. I would eat it, but I never liked it. And then it's not just because of her cooking or anything like that. It was even when we went out to restaurants, especially my family really loves steakhouses, and so anytime we would go, I just didn't like it. I didn't want it. I would get like a vegetable plate so I can get all different types of vegetables, or I would get a giant salad or whatever, because the taste of meat just wasn't really good to me. And so it was so easy to just take it out of my diet. Plus, around this time, I feel like it was kind of a fad, or I don't know. I had the idea, and I feel like other people during this time had the idea, that it was healthy to not eat meat. It was like you were doing a good thing by not eating meat because meat was dirty. I don't know where this came from. I just feel like that idea was in a lot of people's minds during this time. And so a lot of people just asked me, why don't you just not eat meat since you don't really like it? And so I thought about it for a while and realized they're right, I should just not eat it. And so I didn't. And I didn't realize how long it would stick, but that's literally the reason why I started being a vegetarian. It wasn't anything to do with animal rights, although I feel like animals should be treated correctly, and also I feel like you should really care about where your food comes from, how it was treated, and what they're putting in your food. But that just wasn't my main reason for doing it. Plus, I believe that God gave us animals to survive on and to live off of, and so I have no problem with people hunting and using the whole animal and all things like that. So my reason was literally just because I did not like meat. So now I just want to give you a quick summary, very quick summary of the 11 years of me being a vegetarian. So as I already said, I started it when I was in high school. And I started doing it, felt fine, felt totally normal. I played volleyball throughout high school. I played club, I played in school, so I was working out a ton and I felt totally fine. Same amount of energy. I really didn't feel any difference at all, honestly. I also want to mention that I don't know if it was specifically after I became a vegetarian or before, because it was 11 years ago. The time has been fuzzy in my head, and so I'm not sure when this occurred, but I did have these extreme pains in my stomach, and I would be doubled over on the floor, like couldn't get up. Horrible pains in my stomach. I didn't know what was happening. I actually thought my appendix was gonna burst or something. So I even went to the ER twice, I believe, because I just didn't know what was going on. And finally, we attributed it to just being gas and the fact that I was lactose intolerant. And so I, along with being a vegetarian, I also tried my best to steer clear of dairy. So I wasn't like a complete vegan, and I did have dairy sometimes, but when I would, it would give me this extreme gas and it was very painful. And so I also pretty much cut that out too. So just noting that. So my last year of high school and then my next 2 years of college, I had a bit of an eating disorder. I was anorexic and doing some other things that I should not have been doing. So I just want to mention those things. I also became a vegan for 6 months or a year. I'm not quite sure, but like strict, hardcore vegan. And I realized at the end of that I was just not being healthy. I did not feel good. And so I quit that and went back to being a vegetarian. So when people wonder like how it was eating at restaurants and things like that, being a vegetarian for so long, it was never an issue for me. I think because I already had experience restricting my diet so much in those early years of this, so it just wasn't hard for me to restrict it when I went out and ate with people or did things like that or went to a party or whatever, it wasn't hard for me to like not eat or only eat small bits or eat like little things that weren't a real meal, because I was kind of used to that. So after those first 3 years of becoming a vegetarian and then doing these not good things to my health, after those 3 years, I stopped being vegan, became vegetarian, and focused a lot more on my health. And I just ate really whatever I wanted and made sure that I was working out. I made sure that I was eating healthy foods, but I could eat any of those healthy foods, as much of the healthy foods as I wanted. I didn't restrict myself. I ate as much as I needed to, as much as I wanted to. And for those next 8 years, I felt great. I felt like myself. I had all the energy I needed. I actually quit going to the college I was going to, and I went and played volleyball in college. And so I was like playing Division I sports, which means you're having to work out a ton and lift weights and blah, blah, blah. And I was vegetarian through the whole thing, and I felt great. I never had issues with like going back to those negative ways of eating. I was healthy. I felt amazing. No issues, no reason to not be a vegetarian anymore. Now, even through my pregnancy, I was a vegetarian, but as I said before, I was trying to not intake dairy because I thought that that was the reason for my horrible pains in my stomach. So when I was pregnant, I realized I craved dairy so much. I craved cheese and milk and eggs and, well, I've always eaten eggs, but anything like that, I wanted that, and I ate it, and I felt totally fine. I felt so much better. Like my body literally knew what it needed, and I ate it, and no issues, no digestive issues, no pains, nothing like that at all. So again, during my pregnancy, I didn't feel the need to eat meat. I still was a vegetarian. Everything was fine, but I did include that dairy, and I felt so much better. Now I want to share why I started eating meat again. So during my postpartum, I of course felt so tired, and I felt drained. I felt lack of energy, and I just didn't attribute it to my diet. I just attributed it to the fact that I just grew a baby and birthed a baby, and now I'm taking care of a baby. So then a couple other symptoms arose. So some other symptoms I was having aside from the lack of energy was also those gas pains came back, like crazy gas pains in my stomach, doubled over in pain, like on the floor, can't go to sleep, can't get into a position that feels comfortable. Another thing is I had a chronic, I don't know if I can consider it that, but eye twitch, where I literally couldn't look people in the eyes and focus on them because the eye twitch was so bad. Plus, I know this is gross, but my farts, so horrible, so terrible. Like something was not right there. You can ask my husband. It was not good, not healthy. If anyone smelled that, they would know that something in my gut is not okay, because it was just so bad, and my stomach was so bloated. The bloating, crazy. My teeth are super sensitive. Plus, it's just super hard to feed your baby, especially when he gets into solids, feeding him like a well-balanced meal, making sure he gets protein, but yet I don't know how to cook protein, and I can't taste the protein beforehand, and I don't necessarily buy protein, so I don't know what meat to buy or how to cook it, anything like that. Plus, I was realizing that sometimes my little baby who weighs 25 pounds was getting more protein in a day than I was. And considering I'm feeding him as well, plus I'm trying to recover my body still, and I am trying to get rid of these horrible symptoms I'm having, of course you need protein for all these things, and my little baby was getting more than me. It just didn't make sense. It didn't add up. And I started hearing things here and there. I'm super into health and wellness. And so for months, I've had this in the back of my mind, like maybe I need to eat meat, maybe I need to eat more protein. And I just haven't wanted to make the jump because it's been 11 years and I am a super determined person. I don't give up on things, and I just felt so disappointed in myself. I know I shouldn't feel that way, but I felt this like defeat if I ate meat, even though it was for my best interest, for my family's best interest, like making dinners with meat in them, me cooking them. It's going to be so much easier. It was going to be so much healthier for everyone. but I just felt like kind of a failure because I was quitting this thing that I had kept up with for so long. I don't know why I felt that way. Maybe someone else can relate to that. If you can, please let me know. It even got to the point where my husband had made this enchilada with meat and he said it was really gross, like it just didn't taste good. He actually preferred my vegetarian enchiladas instead, so he ate those and left his like meat enchilada there to just throw away or give to the dogs. And as I was like looking at it and I was sitting next to it, I was like, in my head, my intuition was saying, eat it, put it in your mouth, eat the enchilada, eat the meat, eat the meat, eat the meat. Like something inside me was screaming, do it now. And I just knew it was time. I needed to figure this out. I needed to eat meat. So that was kind of the turning point. That's why I decided to start eating meat. It's for a lot of reasons, and I have been doing it for about 2 months now. And of course, I don't think I'm going to reap all the benefits yet because I have kind of depleted myself of protein for the last 11 years. Not completely, of course. I did try my best to get as much protein as I could. Being a vegetarian, I was conscious of that, but also it's just so much different and so much easier to do when you can eat meat. So I just want to share this. I hope this is helpful for anyone out there. I'm definitely going to make another video down the line just to share what has changed, because a lot has changed already, but I think it's going to be better at like the 6-month mark or 1-year mark to just share how life has changed, how my health has changed. And so if you have any questions about this, comments, concerns, especially if you have been a vegetarian, I would love to hear from you. Let me know in the comments. I will definitely respond, and thank you for watching.